Hey everyone, it's Desy Cheng, and today I'm going to be taking my dull kitchen knife, which has issues cutting things like this piece of paper, and I'm going to get it razor sharp. So I did a little bit of research online and found this, the Ruixin Pro knife sharpener. And as you may know, that the best way to sharpen your knives are using Whetstones. And the one thing is you gotta be a little bit skilled just because you gotta do it multiple times and you gotta do it at a specific angle. So for those who are not as skilled, such as myself, I got this guy just because it maintains your degree angle. And yeah, it's pretty easy to use. So let's dive into, and I'll show you how I use it. Okay guys, so the first thing that you guys want to do is you want to take your Whetstones and you want to put it into water. You should probably let it soak for about 5 minutes before you start using it. So we'll set that aside right now. Now, next thing you do is you take your base clamp, you mount it to the table, and you want to make sure you really tighten that in. Okay, then once that is tightened, you mount, you take this little thumb screw out, move it aside, you won't really need that, and then you screw in this base rod. Tighten up the thumb screw, make sure it's tight, there we go. Okay, now you position this ball head roughly somewhere here. You're gonna have to readjust it later on. And then next thing you do, this rod is actually apart, but you screw it back in, and once it's screwed in, you slide it through, and then you take the little attachment, screw it in there, and that's essentially it. And make sure you tighten this really tight because you don't want any wiggle room or anything like that. Then you want to take your knife, you want to slide it into the clamp. There we go. Right into the middle somewhere is good. Make sure it's somewhat even. Okay, and then you take your provided Allen key and you just tighten it. So after about 5 minutes, you can take your Whetstones. So anything under around an 800 grit is considered a coarse. So if you had a really dull knife, you probably want to go for like a 120 or 320. But this one's not super dull. So anyways, I'm going to start with the 600 grit one, and then I'll work into a more finer one. Anyways, so what you do is you just pull back on the edge right here, lock it into place, and then make sure you really tighten it so the Whetstone is nice and firm in place. The next thing you want to do is you want to find your edge. So to do that, you use your phone, and there is a measure app. If you have an iPhone, it's measure, and then you get the level. So the first thing you want to do is you want to measure the base right here. So you find your level. So right now it's saying it's about 13-ish degrees. But again, it depends on your inclination of where things are. Usually it's roughly about 15 degrees. And then you want to tap it once, and that's going to zero it in. And then what you do next is you want to put this on, lower it down just a little bit more. And then this is where you will find your actual level. So once you've zeroed it in, so right now this is a 28 degree level, which is not the best. Ideally, they suggest somewhere between 17 to 20 degrees. If you have a Japanese blade, it's closer to 17 degrees. And if you have an American Western steel, then it's probably around closer to 20. So I'll just go down to 17 degrees, which is right about here. And then you lock it into place. Okay, so now you're done with that. And then, when you're doing this, you probably want to do this about 15 times. So you want to start from the back of the knife on the long side, and then what you want to do is you want to push it and go towards the tip. Do this about 15 times. Once you're done about 15 times, you can rotate the knife. And then you do it the opposite way. Then you want to rotate it and do it 5 more times on the other side. And then 5 more times on the other side. Okay, now that you're done, I'm gonna switch the Whetstones and I'm gonna go to a more finer one. So I'm going to loosen this up, pull it back, take it out, and now I'm gonna take the 1500 grit Whetstone. Make sure it's in there nicely. Lock into place. I'm going to do 10 on each side. Now I'm going to take out the knife. Should be very, very sharp now. Okay, and now let's do a quick cut test. We'll use a piece of paper. Now let's just see if we can slice through this piece of paper. Oh. Anyways guys, this is a fantastic knife sharpener and I would highly recommend it. It's perfect for getting your kitchen knives sharp, your hunting knives, or pretty much whatever knife you have sharp. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe, and definitely don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Desy31.